absolutely obsessed with doing this. Can't stop, won't stop. I just wanted to talk you through how I made these shoes. I'm still very impressed that I can make shoes. And it's something that I didn't really realize you could do until I started working for I Can Make Shoes. So I joined I Can Make Shoes last year as their head of design and content, so not even as a shoemaker. I don't actually have to make any shoes as part of my job, but it's a perk. And I've kind of mentioned a few times on my TikTok that I've made some shoes, and everyone's like, how? I say everyone as if like it's millions of people, it's like 5. But I just thought I'd show you, or kind of tell you, or a bit of both, how to make shoes. So annoyingly, I didn't really think of filming this landscape when I was filming bits of making these shoes, so you're gonna have to deal with some vertical video, but I'll talk you through it as we go. So the first thing that I did when I made these shoes was make the upper, so that's this bit of the shoe. So I used the sandal slider pattern, and then I cut out my own semicircles at the sides just to add a little bit of detail, but also it's good ventilation for summer. So you basically take your pattern and then trace it on the leather of your choice, and also the lining leather of your choice. So you basically end up needing 4 of this, and then you end up gluing and stitching it together to have a lined upper. You can also do this in whatever order you want, but this is the order I did it in. So I prepped my upper, got that all stitched and created, and then I moved on to covering my platform unit. So underneath here is this orange block that you need to coat with shoemaking glue, and then you coat your leather with shoemaking glue as well, and then you wrap it round and stick it on. Obviously you kind of cut it to shape first, and then you wrap it, glue it down, make sure it's all covered. You can also do this in a different color. It doesn't all have to match, but I just wanted these to be these like dark espresso mules. So once I had the upper of my shoe and the platforms covered, I then moved on to making my insole. I actually made this insole a bit too small. You might be able to see it doesn't quite fit. That's completely my own fault. I made it too big and then I carried on trimming it down, and then I was getting impatient and I trimmed it down a bit too much at once. So I would definitely recommend when you're making shoes, you just take slivers off at a time. Definitely don't rush things like I do. But basically, to make your insole, you take your insole pattern. I made my own insole pattern for this based on the shape of the platform unit. And then you take that pattern, trace it onto some insole board, add some foam if you want for some comfort, glue it all together, and then coat it in the same leather as the rest of your shoe, or you can coat it in whatever leather you want. I did it in the same dark chocolate. I guess it's dark chocolate. I just got chocolate on the brain. Dark brown espresso leather. And then I'm trying to remember, but I think I then glued this all together before making my sole pattern. But again, you can do it in whatever order you want. So I might have even made my sole pattern, cut it out of 2mm thick resin soling, and then glued that on. Or I might have glued this all together first and then glued that on. Either way, it all got glued together. But yeah, basically to make the sole, I traced the sole pattern of the platform unit, and then I traced that onto the black resin soling, cut it out, stuck it on, there's your sole. Then yeah, as I said, you kind of just like glue everything together. So I glued the upper to the insole first, and then you need to skive away any excess so that you have a flat surface to glue your insole onto the platform unit. You don't want any bumps and that kind of thing, because then you'll feel it under your foot. So yeah, I skived it all away, glued it all up, stuck it down. I've got a pair of shoes. I obviously am gonna be a bit biased because I work for I Can Make Shoes, but it is way easier than I thought. Like before I joined them, I didn't even know it was possible. Like I'm a crafty person, I love knitting, love crocheting, but I didn't know that shoemaking was even an option. So as soon as I knew I could do it, I was like, well, that's gonna be my personality for the rest of my life. So yeah, I've made this pair. I'll go grab the other pairs I've made as well, just so you can have a little look. They are all a similar style because I found what I like and found what I can do and stuck with it. Also, I found that I really like sandal making, but the rest of it I haven't really tried yet. But for me, I'm quite fussy with the style of shoes that I like, and I think I'm more likely to like a pair of sandals that I've made than like a pair of trainers, because I quite like the New Balance and like the chunky soles and all of that, which you can make, but I'm just a bit more fussy with that kind of thing. And I just think like making a pair of sandals is easier to get right to my style, if that makes any sense. I'll go grab the other ones that I've made and have a look. So as I said, I made some very similar ones. These were actually the first pair of shoes that I made, so I'm quite confident making this style of shoe now because I've done it a couple of times. But yeah, this one, I've got a slightly different platform unit underneath. It's more of like a square kind of thing, and the insole actually came with this set, so I just covered that with the leather, but you can see it's like very similar construction. And then something a bit more exciting and different, I made some fisherman sandals. So these were made out of like green croc leather. I made the soles myself. You can kind of see where I've joined two soles together. Maybe you can't, it doesn't really show that much. But if you don't like making your own soles, you can buy sandal soles and attach those yourself. But I don't know, it's quite nice having a pair of sandals that I've made literally from scratch. So yeah, those are those ones. So that is how I made some shoes. If you want to know anything else, feel free to ask away. I know this was filmed a little bit weirdly. I didn't really think about making a full video when I was making the shoes, so I just filmed like little vertical bits. But if you want more videos like this but filmed properly, let me know. Yeah, that's how I made these shoes.